Hello, everyone, and welcome to Unleashed. I'm Carl Metzler. We've got a great show lined up for you this week. You know, on this show, we spend a lot of time talking about dogs and the capabilities they have and the way that they make our lives better, safer, and more enjoyable. But we don't often talk about the other side of the leash, the canine handler. Well, that's about to change. We're heading to Scottsdale, Arizona to the HITS conference, the largest canine handler training seminar anywhere in the world. We're going to get a behind-the-scenes look at what it takes to be a canine handler.
There are over 86 million dogs in the United States, but only a select few are considered elite working or sporting dogs. From police and military canines to hunting and sporting dogs and everything in between, meet the dogs your dog aspires to be. Get ready to see man's best friend in a whole new light. This is Unleashed.
My name's Jeff Barrett, and I'm from Lakeland, Florida, and I was a police officer there for 33 years, and I got the opportunity to work 31 of those 33 with a leash in my hand and police dogs. So this year, 2023, HITS is in Scottsdale, Arizona, at a huge resort, which is able to house so many of the police officers and able to have the conference room for everybody. So we're excited about all the people that continue to join us. And this year, we're over 1,100 people. So, and that's 1,100 attendees and 400 vendors. So we're at about 1,500 people to join us at HITS. And then each day there's 5 breakout rooms with each class going about 2 hours. And that's 3 full days of training. So you're looking at about 60 classes in 3 days.
HITS stands for Handler Instruction and Training Seminars. It's the largest police canine seminar in the world by quite a large margin. It's all classroom. So there's a couple vendors have a few dogs here, but it's mostly people, the handlers are just coming, leaving their dogs at home, and they're here to sit in classrooms and network with other handlers and then learn from some of the best instructors from all over the world.
We are the largest police canine law enforcement military conference in the country. Nobody really comes close to the attendance. Here we're going to be 1,200 plus here in Scottsdale this year of August of 2023. And we're going to be in New Orleans in late August of 2024. We try to do multifaceted topics to handlers. So we are 5 classes a day for 3 days. It's non-dog, so it's really all classroom instruction. We try to do in general tracks, so you'll do a patrol emphasis track to go each day, a narcotics emphasis track, and clearly a bomb emphasis track.
Well, there's every different type of discipline for police dogs is represented here. So no matter what type of dog you work, there's stuff to do. We've got 5 classes going on, and you pick and choose which class you want and make your kind of your own schedule and kind of make it your own thing. And we do everything from tactics to first aid to legal stuff to training stuff. It's all encompassing ways, and it's all the nexus is all that it's for police dogs and police dog handlers.
So we do it annually, and we try to move it around the country a little bit so that we can expose everybody as much as possible, because sometimes people just don't have the funds to travel, and so we move to them basically. But we've been doing it for about, I would say, 22 years. Yeah. So 22 years of the HITS conference is pretty impressive, and it just keeps growing.
We're proud of the product because we like to teach people, educate them. We want you to have a good time, but we also want you to learn and walk away that you've accomplished something and learned something from the seminar, and we help make you more proficient at your law enforcement or military duties.
So next year we're going to be in New Orleans. We're expecting, as every year, we've been fortunate that we've grown every year. So New Orleans is a fantastic city. We have another awesome host hotel.
New Orleans, August 26th through the 29th, the Big Easy. Come have some crawfish etouffee or jambalaya and learn a little bit, see what happens from August of 23 to August of 24 in the law, see what happens.
I expect that it's going to be just as a fun time for these guys. It's going to be very impressive. Every time I see handlers that are new to hits, they're just wowed, the factors that they see. They're overwhelmed with everything that we put on.
And we have Smart Dog on the civilian side of things, so anybody out there in the civilian world, we have dipped our toe into search and rescue, competition dogs, anything along that lines in the civilian world, just about dog training in general. So wherever you come from, Schutzen or AKC or anything like that, we had an avalanche class here for the civilians.
It's professional, it's top-notch training, and all the amenities that we can provide for them, we give it to them because we want them to know that they're appreciated, and this is the most professional thing that they're going to do with their police dogs in this type of environment.
No matter what you feed, sometimes your dog needs a little help to keep them at the top of their game. For some dogs, it can even mean the chance to just live a normal, healthy life. Our Kinetic supplements are formulated to meet specific needs to get and keep your dog at optimal health and performance. Your dog will love them, and you'll be amazed at the difference they make. If your dog needs an extra boost, give Kinetic a try. We build it for our dogs, and you'll love it for yours.
My name's Andrew Wyman. I'm one of the owners of HITS. The training of the handler is probably the most important piece because handlers are continuously training the dog even though they may not know it. So dogs learn progressively. They learn, what they did yesterday, and if you did it incorrectly today or something different today, they'll learn that. And if the handler doesn't have an extensive education in training the dog and how to use the dog correctly, then the dog can be trained incorrectly as time goes by.
So, when you're a dog handler, obviously training the dog is a big part of it, and you learn how to do that. But that's the dogs, because they're dogs, they need constant retraining. And because people are people, they need some retraining just to retrain skills as a handler and also to evolve. So our industry is evolving all the time.
If you look at traditional law enforcement training over the years that we've done it, it was always hands-on training, and we never considered anything other than that. So the hands-on training is labor-intensive to the guys. The classes have to be smaller, and there's still huge value in those. We never gave those up. But HITS came along and we developed something that really changed the way that law enforcement canine guys receive their training. And we didn't know for sure that that would be receptive.
Law enforcement is changing by the day. It's changed more in the last few years than it did the first 30 years I was involved. And because of that, whether you like it or not as a cop, but the changes, you have to go with it. So this is the type of seminar that is focusing on training the human side of the police dog thing.
A lot of times the theories and concepts about dog training are hard to learn and listen to when you have a dog at the end of the lead. Most of the time when a dog is at the end of the lead, it's a technique you're working on and timing of rewards or corrections or commands, and tactics, of when to go forward, when to back up, things like that. But when it comes to theory about dog training, you really need to be able to concentrate. And having that dog in your hand, you really just don't have the time. We liken it to when they have a dog in their hand and you're trying to explain something to them, it's like getting a drink from a fire hose. You're half focused on the dog, half focused on what you're hearing, and lots of the information just goes everywhere and it doesn't necessarily get absorbed. So by separating the two out every once in a while, you can get a better grasp and then apply the concept. Get the grasp of the concept, apply the concept.
When we first started, and I was the lawyer, non-dog guy, there seemed to be a faction. You believe in method A, and the B people think the A people are nuts, and the A people think the B method, and the C thinks everybody's nuts. And the one thing we tried to bridge the gap. We don't want you to change from your method A or change from your method B or change from your method C. But maybe there's 10% that the C group is doing that A can accept and actually adapt and help their methodology, and vice versa all the way around. So we've really worked hard in presenting alternative, not odd things, but presenting multiple options for them.
There's always new stuff coming out. Even if it's old stuff, it's still going to be new to the guys that have never heard it before. So the techniques that are there, it draws the interest. And one of the biggest things that I preach for people is the networking amongst ourselves, because I still to this day, even though I train dogs, I pick up the phone and call somebody if I have a problem.
So as a handler, what is really great about a seminar like this, and obviously I'm biased, I like this seminar, but what's really great about this seminar is, again, we're bringing in instructors from all over the world. So some of this stuff is new to handlers, some of it is a refresh, some of it is the networking. They're gonna be able to train the dog better, they're gonna be better prepared for any medical emergencies, they're gonna be better prepared to articulate the value of having police dogs, both to their administration and both to the public. So we try to get on a much deeper level than we just have a dog in our car and we're just driving around with that dog. There's a significant amount that the public doesn't see, and it's maybe not as exciting as watching a demo when the dog is running around, but it's every bit as important to do all the other training to go behind it. And then they take those skills, get them back, get the dog back in the car, and they put it all together and should make for a better team.
For your active dog, not just any dog food will do. It takes special care and nutrition to support their energy to work and play. That's why we made Kinetic Performance Dog Food. Each Kinetic formula is made with 3 animal proteins and no fillers like corn, wheat, or soy. This lets you feed less and still get more energy, faster recovery, and better weight maintenance. If health and performance matter to you, give Kinetic a try. We build it for our dogs, but you'll love it for yours.
So handlers are a different breed, as we say sometimes. They are probably the most dedicated part of the police department. They are committed to the care and welfare of an animal that is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. It never stops. And that animal needs lots of care and lots of training. They're dual tasked, meaning they are a police officer that has to do police officer normal everyday duties just like every other police officer on the department. But additionally, they're a canine handler. So they voluntarily take on that responsibility of learning an very complicated and very time-intensive additional task. So in doing so, they put themselves right at the tip of the spear.
In every agency that I've ever been around, to be a dog handler is a sought-after position. It's not something that you're just handed, and it's not something that you really just raise your hand and are automatically picked. You got to put some work into. You got to decide you want to be a dog handler. You want to take on all the extra responsibilities.
In canine, it's all volunteer. Nobody pushes it on you because you want it, and you have some sense of desire and passion to want to do it. And then once you get in it, you start to realize that there's a lot of work that is involved. But for me, even when I became a police officer and I saw my first police dog, I saw what I wanted to do the rest of my career.
The responsibility is a different type of responsibility, in addition to being on call all the time and having all of the duties of training the dog and keeping the dog certified and understanding all the different aspects of the legalities of deploying the dog and everything.
As a road patrol officer, you're off your shift and you go home. Here you have another sentient being that's going to have to be fed, it's going to have to interact with your family. Everybody's job follows them home in some fashion, but you have a 70 pound partner that's with you even on your days off. So it's just, you have to be a dedicated person to be a canine handler. You truly do. And you gotta be an animal person, and you gotta want to go the extra mile.
I think that they don't ever want the dog to fail. so that it endangers anyone, for themselves or any other officer that's out there or any other person that's out there. Their pride and their dedication to really doing everything absolutely perfectly is very, very high. So they train quite hard to make sure that they do it as at their possible best all the time. That training is critical to doing the job.
That's the level and extent of training that is required is often overlooked and missed by people who see that finished product. They admire it, they respect it, and they have even the civilian population has such a connection to law enforcement dogs because everybody owns a dog. And so they feel that connection and they're interested in what we do. And when they see that finished product, they think it's so impressive and they want to sometimes emulate the quality of the control that we have, and they don't see the backside of it, the hours, the endless time that we spend with these dogs to get them to perform the way they do. And it's not really just a job for us.
So, one of the things that we really hope to do in HITS again is to just elevate the entire profession. And as a retired officer now, I'm out there and I train, I travel the country and I train. And I'm not doing it for the money, I got a great retirement, but I love police dogs, I love dog handlers, I love the whole profession. And by trying to share some of the experience I have and then seeing what's going on across the country, events like this and going out and doing one-on-one trainings with everybody is one way just to keep helping newer handlers learn from some of our past mistakes, make them better handlers, continue to show the professionalism we have. And one of the great things that I've always loved about being in this industry with police dog handlers is that every day the classrooms are going to be full. They could leave, they could go drive around town and go to the pool or something, but they're going to be in the classrooms because they're here to do it and they want to do it.
Coming here to HITS, they're taking the effort to actually get so much more educated about the process of training a dog so they can go back and even grow their department. And they'll take what they learn here back to their department and take on the role of trainer for a while to relay this information to everybody else who didn't come, because someone has to stay back at the shop and work.
It's a passion and it's a lifestyle that these guys get into. We're around that dog more than we're around our family because we may work 8, 10, 12 hours a day with them, and then we spend the rest of that day with them as well, where we're only around our family when we're with them. So we spend our lives with these dogs, and the connection that you have with it and the passion that you have to be better than you were yesterday requires that commitment. You can't just wish it to happen. It has to be something that you apply yourself to and commit to.
No matter what you feed, sometimes your dog needs a little help to keep them at the top of their game. For some dogs, it can even mean the chance to just live a normal, healthy life. Our Kinetic supplements are formulated to meet specific needs to get and keep your dog at optimal health and performance. Your dog will love them, and you'll be amazed at the difference they make. If your dog needs an extra boost, give Kinetic a try. We build it for our dogs, and you'll love it for yours.
Well, dogs are really valuable to a law enforcement agency. They're a force multiplier. You get a burglary call or an alarm call, and it's a building, pretty good sized building, office building maybe. And in my career, I was a law enforcement officer for 35 years. We would go handle those. If I was to walk through that building by myself, it'd take me quite a while to make sure nobody was in there. And I could easily miss them, especially if they heard me coming. If I get 4 or 5 officers to go through it to speed that time up and try to make sure I don't see it, that's 4 or 5 officers off the street, all of us walking through a building. I take a dog into that building, and one that's well-trained with a well-trained handler, it can take me less than 5 minutes, and I'm absolutely positive nobody's inside that building. And that's a force multiplier so that you're not having to tie up so many law enforcement officers on a call like this, and they can be out doing other things.
They make everything safer for patrol officers just by being there. Their presence there, one of the buzzwords right now in our profession is de-escalation. A dog in a car on scene barking is an outstanding tool for de-escalation. So just having the presence there, and it's been statistically proven by some agencies that having a dog on scene has lowered their use of forces and everything else just by having the dog on scene, not even coming out of the car. Then when you need to get the dog out of the car, the dog makes it safer for officers to search for suspects. It makes it safer for the suspects and for the officers.
You have detection dogs that, they smell better than we do, right? They have that ability. So if you're hunting for drugs or explosives or anything like that, you just couldn't find it, on your own. And the speed at which they can do it.
There's many, many layers of very, very valuable things that police dogs do. There's just nothing that has replicated what a patrol dog or a detector dog can do yet. I know that lots and lots of companies have tried to say, for instance, mimic what a bomb dog can do. And I would hazard a guess that there's probably been a few $1 billion spent on trying to replace a bomb dog, and I'll take any bomb dog over every machine they have out there right now.
It's invaluable. They'll find the person that's hiding and that has run from the police. They'll find the Alzheimer patient who's wandered off into the woods. They'll find a 3-year-old that has actually wandered off, because you can find them. So on those things, the sad part about the world is you hear the one bad act that happened this week in one small town, and they do happen. You don't hear the 5,000 good things that go on with a canine who saves someone's life, takes down a bad guy, saves the police officer's life because the canine, was deployed and he had a weapon and he was able to take him down. But they are a tool to utilize to fight bad people, people that commit crime, or find innocents that wander away, whether it be elderly or young.
It brings a connection to the community. One-on-one, the children in the schools could play with these dogs, and yet they can go out and work in the communities and bite bad guys, but be such a baby in front of all these children. And so that brings such a connection, because everybody does have a dog. And when you bring the police dogs out, there's an automatic connection. And that's such a powerful PR tool for police departments to have.
They're a great public relations tool. You go out to any school, you go out to any event, and you show them the quality of the training, the control that they have, their abilities that they can, find things, do things that most dogs can't do, or most people see the dogs can't do. That is just impressive, and it builds that communication. It builds that ability to have someone come up, ask questions about the dog, ask questions about what they can do, and then that makes the human side of the officer come out and lets everybody know that, a law enforcement officer is just a regular person like everybody else. We just have a job to do.
Yeah, they're not all John Wayne, Clint Eastwood guys with dogs. They're really not. They're family men with children, and they're just out there, or women, family men or women with children, that are just out there doing, I think for the vast, vast majority, trying to do the right thing.
As we travel across the country and talk to canine handlers, there's kind of a recurring joke that goes on that, yes, there is another side of the leash. I hope today you got a little bit of an insight into the professionalism, the dedication, the commitment, and the passion that these men and women bring to the work they do each and every day. Remember, without the handler, there's no canine. So special thanks to the HITS conference. Thanks for having us out there. I hope you learned a little bit. We'll see you next time on Unleashed.